Conklin, and welcome to the Anthony Conklin Show, where we interview leaders and icons in their space. Our goal is to work with entrepreneurs and business owners who want to connect their passion and purpose and build a bridge called Why. Tonight on our show, we have a very energetic, very verbose, very out there, well-known leader and icon in the sales space. He is extremely animated, and he is not only a CEO of a sales guy. Check out the shirt, okay? Mine shrunk, Keenan. That's why I didn't wear it. And he is author of this amazing book called Not Taught. Great book. It's called Not Taught. It's called What It Takes to Be Successful in the 21st Century That Nobody is Teaching You. You know, Keenan, I got to be honest. I mean, you know as well as I do that there are so many books on sales. Before we do that, let me introduce the one, the only, my amazing co-host, Miss Vicky Fitch, who you can find at vickyfitch.com. And if you get her online, she has something called the Fitch Slap, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But
love that. I love that.
Without further ado, I want to get into the show. Keenan, thank you so much for taking some time and being so gracious with your time and being available. I know we tried to get this interview on the calendar literally for a month, and I appreciate you being here. And big kudos to Kira, who made it all happen. So thank you so much for being here. So tell me about the book. Why? Why this book? Why this title? Why? Why is this something that everybody should be reading now?
Because times have changed. Look, I mean, the medium answer, because I'm verbose, which I will not deny, is I was asked to give a presentation to a graduate class. A friend of mine is an adjunct professor at University of Denver. And he said, hey, come in and talk to my class. Make sure I'll do it. What do you want me to talk about? He said, I don't know. Tell them what they need to know when they graduate. So, all right, I take things seriously. I sat my ass down and I started drawing it all out, and I put it together about 9 or 10 things. And and when I was done, I'm like, whoa, this is completely different from when I graduated from college in the late 80s, early 90s, right? And I was like, okay. So then I did what you just did. I said, why is it different? And then I started looking at it and thinking, oh my God, it's different because we are now in the information age. We have left the industrial age. So then I said, well, what was different about the industrial age that we don't have any information age? And as you kept asking that, why, you started to realize that the industrial age and how it was set up, and the idea of resumes and measuring time and how hard you worked and punching the clock and all of that stuff was just not going to work in this age. And then I started recognizing all kinds of people who noticed this early or were doing it without noticing it were being wildly successful. So then I was like, oh my gosh, no one's teaching them at school. There's no classes. Most people haven't even noticed the transition, and they're running around still doing the same old shit they've always done and are confused.
Right, but it's not getting. When you think about fundamentals, Keenan, I mean, we all know, you and I would say I humbly am hopefully part of your circle, Anthony Iannarino, Mark Hunter, all these leaders in that space and I subscribe to that. But when I ask why I read this book, there are so many books on there on selling. And what is it that really kind of, if I looked at this book, what's really important that I want to take away from this book from a sales perspective? Because I know there's parts about branding you talk about here, talk about, asking hard questions. And you have one section here, which I want to get to later, which is talking about anybody could be a salesperson. And I really want to dig a little deeper. But from a sales perspective, like what makes me think that your perspective is so different from someone else's? And I ask that for a reason, because you talk about that on your Snapchats, you talk about that on your blogs, you talk about it with your customers. So I want to get to the heart of that. So what is it about this that's different from sales books that we can pick up today?
Well, okay, so what's really different is it's really not a sales book teaching you how to sell. If you want to use it as not taught for sales, it's a career book to help you be a better salesperson in terms of being recognized or being able to solve the problems that your customers need. Look at it as a framework, right? So Jill Conrad, Anthony's got a book coming out at the end of the year. David Brock's got a book coming out, and they're going to break down sales process. They're going to break down how to overcome objections. They're going to break down the buying process. This doesn't do that. This gives you the information on how to be a salesperson in the 21st century as opposed to a salesperson in the industrial age. Look, think about it like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Salespeople in the industrial age had to do different things to get in front of different people, to get people to buy, to prospect. We have a whole new world now, and it's different. And if you don't understand the difference between the industrial age and the information age, you're not going to be as successful.
So do you feel that this book was really sort of the catalyst to kind of catapult your career? Because I've been watching you before this book even came out. You know, I used to watch all those videos on YouTube and all the in your face, and I'm like, this guy is, I gotta meet this guy. This guy's crazy. He's a nut like me. You know, so when I think of the book, I mean, was the book sort of catalyst to say, listen, okay, enough is enough. I need to start telling people about how sales really is, and this is my perspective, right? But did this, you know, what led up to say I got to write the book now? Why now? Why not?
Because I felt bad. Right? So again, I mean, I know you really want to make this about sales, but I can't bullshit you, right? Mm-hmm. I felt bad for people, and the truth of the matter was, people would come up to me and say, "Oh, I've been looking for a job and I can't get one," and or so I don't have the experience that someone says I should have, or I just graduated from school and I can't figure out. And I kept watching them send in resumes, or I kept watching them not get promoted, or not understand why they couldn't move through their career, or they be a solopreneur and they couldn't get any business. And I was like, guys, you're doing it wrong. Everybody's doing it wrong. And there was nobody out there really laying out what's changed. So everybody was still doing what their parents taught them, and it wasn't working. And so that's really what the impetus was. And then my whole entire business and my whole career today is the result of doing much of this stuff by accident. I can't say I saw it. I just did something and it worked. And then I re-entered like, I get why it worked now. You probably wouldn't be doing what you're doing today. I certainly would not have this business today if it was 30 years ago.
I would have to agree. I would have to agree with that.
Could not do it.
The dynamics of selling.
There's so many more opportunities today for people.
Yeah, the dynamics of everything have changed. I mean, sales aside, branding, marketing, entrepreneur, it's all changed. And you outline that. You outline in the book. I didn't mean to interrupt your answer. I was just kind of going with your flow. See this? Vic, he's got so much energy. I'm like let's keep going.
Well, when you drink a Red Bull, what do you expect? I mean,
It's
if I drank a Red Bull, I probably
it's all good. It's all good. So
seriously.
Let's back up a little bit, Keenan. I know we kind of jumped into the book because I really wanted to get to that. So give me a little backstory. Maybe you can tell our listeners and our viewers a little backstory, who Keenan is, how he came to be, and what kind of led up to the aha moment, the why of, I got to write this book because I gotta tell people how things really are that they're not being taught. So give us a little backstory. So tell us the story of Keenan. How did you get started?
So, I mean, I guess I'll start with, look, I've been in sales for years. My career moved very quickly. I left South Beach, Miami, where I was a model and a bartender, and life was going great. And I started a job slinging chamber memberships at the Denver Metro Chamber of Commerce, right? In 1997. By 2000, I was the vice president of sales for North America for a CLEC, $1 billion CLEC, and I managed $300 million in revenue and worked with some of the biggest CLECs in the world in the managed motive business. I had 125 employees. I had director level, manager level across the United States in just 3 years, right? So what happened was, when that company went bankrupt because DSL came in, they did the managed modems, they did all the dial-up network, right? That was gone. I couldn't compete with other people in my position because they had been doing it 10, 15, 20 years. Anybody that had the same level of responsibility I had a resume that was miles long and deep in experience. I had all the expertise, but I had none of the experience. And so after a few failed attempts at trying to stay at that level or climb the ladder, I got frustrated. And I was like, look, I will never compete on my resume. So I said, I'm going to write a blog, and I'm going to start talking about the things that I know in sales, how to run sales teams, what the pitfalls are, how to manage pipeline, how to do processes, how to hire. And I started writing every single day for 2 years. And all of a sudden, people started taking notice. And the thought was, if I do that if I ever needed another job, I didn't have to compete on my resume. I could simply go to my blog and say, hey, everybody, I'm leaving this position. I know you've been reading and know what I do. I'm looking for a job. And I'd have maybe 200, 500, 1,000 people that could help me out. That was the logic. Fast forward 2 years, and people started reaching out and saying, hey, I read this post. I have this problem. Can you help me? Can you help me? And then right around that time, the company I was with got purchased by an overseas conglomerate. It would let go most of the North American sales team. So I was faced with a choice. Spend 6 months trying to find another senior executive sales job, or 6 months trying to become a sales consultant. I sat there and went like this, and said, banger right. And within 2 months, I had an anchor client.
Wow, that's awesome. So you've been on this 5-year journey, and it was that defining moment. So let's back up a half a step. So let's say that never happened. Do you think you'd still be working as a senior executive in sales? Okay, so maybe when you think about so sometimes bad things happen to good people, but when you step back from it, they're really not bad things. They're things that are supposed to happen. Yeah, right.
Well, that wasn't a bad thing. No, look, I was not made out to be a corporate guy. The reason my career accelerated so quickly is if we have any senior executives listening, you'll get this. And if you're truly honest with yourself, you'll clap quietly. And if you're a jerk, you'll try to deny it. Because even Carl Icahn said this. Okay? Even Carl Icahn said this. In the trenches, the people are rewarded for their productivity, what they can deliver. I was very good at that. I crushed in every sales job I had. I crushed it in every manager job I had. And as I got to a VP, I crushed it. But then as you start creeping up into SVP, EVP, and the C level, it becomes less about results and more about politics. I don't do the politics game very well. Look, you tell me to go get a rock, or you tell me and my team to go get, we're going to go get all the rocks we can. Now, if you tell me if I'm going to get those rocks, and Mary starts getting in my way, and she doesn't get out of the way or help me do it, I'm going to run her over to get the rocks. If you come after me because I got the rocks, but you hurt Mary along the way, I don't handle that.
So Keenan, you're an executioner. You're an executioner. You're an executioner. You go it. I'm a soldier. I'm going for it. I'm going in the battle. I got on my armor. I'm going to go grab it. Yeah. And what you're saying is, and I want to make sure everyone hears this, and for the people on the replay, just keep replaying this, is that once you get into sales, okay, once you're in sales, and you start to move up the chain to that VP, EVP, C level, once you get into that realm, it's not about, as Keenan put so perfectly, it's not about your productivity or your results. It's all about playing politics. And that's a difficult pill to swallow, because sales, sometimes a good salesperson, would you agree with this? Sometimes a good salesperson may not be a good sales leader. So, and it's okay to be that. It's okay to be that. Yeah. So what it is, so people like yourself who really crushed it, using Gary V term, who crushed it in the sales arena, your next logical step is not to become EVP of sales or become VP or CEO or chief sales officer. Your job should be, go be a freaking entrepreneur and start your own company where you can evangelize what you do across the planet. And that's exactly what you've done. I've seen you doing that for the past couple of years. I've been watching you, and this is a great example. And I think,
well, that's what I did. That's what I did inside my companies too. So one of the things I was known for is I would build my own sales culture within the sales organization. So I never got to a CRO level, but I got to a VP level in publicly traded companies, some big companies. Right. And I had some large teams, and we built our own culture. Everybody understood the Keenan culture when you work. Right. The problem is, let's say my culture clashed, or we were trying to get things done, and other people were playing fiefdom, for instance. So here's a perfect example, right? We're doing a reorg, and let's just say in that reorg, someone's going to lose employees and someone's going to gain employees, right? And people want, the more they want, they think it makes them look better. If the right decision is for me to give up employees, I'm going to give them up, because if that's how you get the rocks. Here, we need more rocks. You take my employees, it's going to help. But if the right decision is to give me more employees to get the rock, I'm not going to give you employees to make you feel good. I'm saying, give me your employees so we can go get the rock. People didn't always operate. They would forego the end result to build themselves up, and I did not play that game well. I was like, no, that's a bad decision. It's for you. I'm not going to do it. And then, oh, shit.
Right. Understand. So, no, it makes a lot of sense. And then, so let's turn the page a little bit here, Keenan. And thank you so much. And everyone, welcome to the Anthony Conklin Show. We're interviewing CEO Jim Keenan, author of the book Not Taught. It's what it takes to be successful in the 21st century that nobody is teaching you. I mean, you guys got to get the book. Go on Amazon.com, order the book. It's great. It's a really really quick read. It's 160 pages long. You know, I've read it. I want to read it again because I skimmed through it because of all the stuff I got going on, just to be transparent. But I'm going to read it again, and I'm traveling to Atlanta and San Antonio the next few weeks, and I will be reading it on the plane. So it's really an awesome book. So Keenan, you're a dad. You're a dad of three girls, I think, please, three, right? You got to have those angel wings there somewhere because having girls, I hear, is a really tough thing because I have boys. I don't know. And Vicky's got a tribe in her house. Who knows? She's got like a tribe over there. She's the queen. She's the queen, I think. So who knows? You know, she has it all figured out. so you're a dad of three. You travel a lot. You do a lot of stuff. I've seen you. You come to New York. You're in Denver. You're on the slopes. So how is it, man? I'm going to get a little personal. How is it managing? And let me preface this by saying, I know other entrepreneurs and social media, digital marketing strategy, branding people, sales leaders that are in a similar space as yours, you know, a dad of children, you know, separate family type of situation. How do you manage scheduling time, quality time with your daughters and making it consistent and making sure that you're there and supportive for them? I really like to hear that story because I think that's so important because a lot of people are not doing it. And I know a couple of them that are actually on this platform that are failing miserably. And I know what they're doing, but I see what you're doing. Like when you're with your girls, I see that connection. But tell us how you manage that time. I'm curious to know how you do that.
I just make it a priority. I mean, it's really that simple. You know, look, I'm guilty of this too. We're all guilty of this, but I like to speak in absolute sometimes, right? And here's the deal. It's never about time. It's never, ever, 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 ever about time. We all have the same 24 hours. It's about prioritization. When I say I don't have time, what I'm really saying is I'm not prioritizing that. So when I say, I didn't have time to get that done, no, I chose not to prioritize that. Now, over what, it can be debatable, right? I had a funeral to go to. I wanted to get some sleep. I don't really care, but let's keep it real. So let's say, okay, what did you prioritize over it? So when it comes to my daughters, it's pretty simple, right? And in many ways, my divorce helped me see this because I get them 50% of the time. I'm not one of those dads who only sees them every other weekend. I have 50% custody. I get them every 2 days and every other weekend. So I had them this past weekend. I didn't have Monday and Tuesday. I get them tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. I won't have them this weekend, and I'll get them Monday and Tuesday again. So I get them all the time. I know when I have them. And so when I have them, I have them. I don't travel when I have them unless there's something, unless I can't, unless I have to, and then I switch with the ex. So I get them when I'm not traveling. I schedule all my on the days I don't have them. And then on the weekends, in the wintertime, we have a place in Vail, and we just go skiing together every single weekend. During the weekdays, I pick them up from school at 2:30, and I take them to school every morning.
That's awesome. So guys, Vicky, I think it's a tweetable. It's not about time. It's about priority. It's about prioritization. I think it's important. So I'm so happy. I'm so happy that you said that because you know, I call it we call it excusitis. I think it's what it's called in the book. They call it excusitis. Yeah, it's a failure disease. Yes, great book, and I have it in audio, so you guys, you should definitely.
Chapter 2.
It's excusitis, and people, they just create these excuses. And I know what you're saying. And Keenan, just an effort to be transparent. I know being a divorced father, well, won't be divorced for long, getting remarried, but being a divorced father of 4 boys, it's a challenge. And trying to manage your time is difficult. And I appreciate you being so transparent and sharing that, you know, with the audience here. So I want to talk about your. Where you're spending your time. I see you with Anthony Iannarino. I see you going in these conferences, travel.
Dude, I take it. Okay. I want to close with.
Now Vicky's coming back. She had a refresh. Yeah, she's coming back.
We lost Vicky.
She's coming back. Yeah, she's refreshing.
She's refreshing really quick. Yep. Okay. Can you hear me still? Okay. Keep going. Ask me your questions. Okay. Do you want to wait
she's coming in.
Back? You want to ask me a question? We can wait. So let me close on that piece while we wait for her. I take my responsibility as a dad so unbelievably serious. I don't know what to say. Because look, I chose to have those 3 girls. Kids. I didn't necessarily choose girls. Would have liked a boy, but oh well. Right? Yeah. So I believe it is my 100% responsibility to make sure that they grow up happy. Look, I'll never forget what I said to my ex towards the end of our marriage. I said, listen, no matter what happens to us, you got to remember something. Everything we wanted from our parents and didn't get, everything we wanted from our parents and did get, everything we looked to our parents for,
that's stunningly,
these kids are looking to
shockingly true. That's true.
Everything you felt and needed from your parents, these kids want from you. So just remember how your parents made you feel and make sure you can do better.
You always want to step up. No, you always want to step up. I think it's important. So for those of you that are parents in the room, I think that, and for those of you that may be in a divorce situation and you have children, I think that advice, I think you should heed that advice or listen to it, come back and listen to the replay and let that sink in a little bit. I think that's important because people get wrapped up in their divorce and they make it about them, right? And then they make it the kid's problem. And the problem is it's never about the kids. It's about you and your ex-spouse. And that's what's important is you got to just keep the kids out of it, but be the example for them. I think that's what it comes down to. Keenan, I see you fine, by the way. I see you fine.
Nobody else does. We can't see him. So what?
I can't see you. I can't see you.
Yeah, I think they're saying. Yeah, I think you need to refresh. They're saying they can't see you either. We all need to refresh. I just did.
All right, I'll come out and come back in.
So again, everybody, welcome to the Anthony Conklin Show with my amazing co-host, Vicky Fitch. We are talking with Jim Keenan. He's the CEO of A Sales Guy, and is also an author of an amazing book called Not Taught. It's what it takes to be successful in the 21st century that nobody is teaching you. And Keenan is back. Welcome back, brother. So we talked a lot about the book. We talked about parenting. We talked about your career. So I'm going to get to sort of I call this the page turn part of our interview is, what the show's about. The show is about really helping entrepreneurs connect their passion and their purpose and build this bridge called Why. So we're going to go through the 3 questions. So when you take a look at where you are in your career, do you truly feel that you are living in your purpose and executing on what your passion is? And let me define passion. Passion is a calling for you, okay? It pulls you in. You don't get pushed into your passion. Your passion is something that naturally, it's something that guides you. It's sort of like your true north, your passion. So do you feel that you are living in your purpose or walking your purpose and living your passion? And if you are, I want to know why you feel that way.
Yeah, I think I am. And I don't know if I could have answered this question 2 or 3 years ago. And I'm sure I'm going to learn some more about myself and how deep I am to the passion, how spot on I am. But I believe I am for this reason. The 2 things I'm really good at that I really enjoy. Okay. One of them is helping people. Okay. I like helping people. I like fixing problems. I'm a fixer, right? Total fixer. So I'm the guy that someone's in a grocery line and they're having a problem getting something done. I'm like, oh, hey, let me help you out there, right? I mean, I just have to fix stuff. And part of fixing is coaching. I love coaching people. I'm a ski instructor, right? Part-time. So I don't know what it is. I don't know where it came from. When I was a little kid, I was the one who wanted to be the what do they call it? The little camp counselor in training type of kid. Not because I wanted authority, because I wanted to help people do stuff and move things and drive places. So I've always been like that. And the second one is sales. I can sell my ass off. I like selling. I like influencing. I like moving things, I like creating change. So when you put those 2 things together, anything that I get to do, where I get to create change, influence, make people's lives better, build stuff that makes things better for people, make people happier, anything in that realm, I'm at home.
So you're really in your poor Vicky. Vicky's like,
oh, I forgot. Sorry,
it's quite a visual. It's quite a visual, and even my nasal sense, my sense of smell is.
We digress. We digress.
Yeah.
No, So let me ask. I'm going to dig a little deeper. So when you said you couldn't answer that question 3 years ago, what was the change? What was the aha moment? What said? Oh,
I don't know if it was an aha. I don't think it's just the opposite of aha. I think it's just little by little, day by day, you start to move to what you're good at. Look, I had the luxury because, look, I say this thing all the time to clients and people I work with who want to do things. I said, listen, you just start moving. Because once you start moving, you can't anticipate what's going to happen. So let's just say you want to go to LA. and you're sitting and you're trying to plan out the trip. I say, look, just start moving, because you may not know that halfway to LA, you buy a lotto ticket and you win $1 billion, and you decide to move to Michigan instead, or you get halfway there and you meet your spouse, and so now you're in Florida instead. I said, you just can't anticipate what's going to happen along the journey. So you just have to start moving. So when I started to make that decision to blog, I never knew I would be here, which means I never knew that my people would pay me a lot of money to fix their things better for them. So I wouldn't have known that I got that much jazz and that excited on helping sales organizations grow, helping people fix problems and get energized in those conversations. I wouldn't have known that. So it's little by little, as time goes on, you start to realize what you like. I've had the luxury of being able to lean into what I like to do. Other people are stuck, so they never know.
Right. Yep. What's the message for some of the listeners here and some of the people come back from the replay? What are some of the things that you can offer them? No, it's great. No, it's exciting. So let me ask you this. Because, I mean, this is important. We're going out on the edge here, because everybody watches YouTube videos and everybody watches Gary Vee and all these different talking heads, and no disrespect, I'm just throwing it out there. We could sit there and consume content all flipping day. But if you don't take any action, if you don't do something with it, it's meaningless. So what do you tell the guy or the gal or the one that's recently divorced or the one that's going through some change in life, the one that just got fired or the one who's got some health problems? What do you tell them, right, that they say, listen, I know I got to move, but I'm a little stuck, but what do I do next? What do you tell them? I mean, you said you had your, it was a series of aha moments, but what do you say to them? What do you say to the people that are listening and the viewers that are truly stuck, saying, listen, I don't know what to do. I get paid a six-figure salary and I can't make the jump. And what am I going to do? The excuse-itis is in full force. What do you offer them?
I mean, the best thing I can say is those are two types of questions. So I'm going to take the second one first. You've got all these responsibilities and ownership. Start small. Just take a leap. And that, it's funny not to be self-promoting, but that's one of the things I love about this book.
No,
right?
Please promote. Please do.
You can do a couple of things in this book. Like I did, starting a blog is a perfect example. I started the blog, small step. It didn't cost me anything to do that, right? It didn't take me away from my job. I just had to find more time, or let's rephrase that, not make 5 more times. I had to make it a priority, right?
Right.
Once I did that, that started a chain that put me here today. Right. So whatever it is you want to move towards, this is what I say. First, find small things that move you in that direction, and don't stop. Don't stop. The second thing I say is start taking the bricks off the wall. When we have that six-figure salary, we go out and buy that $50,000 car. When we have that six-figure salary, we go out and buy that $750, $800 million home. With that six-figure salary, we go on those vacations. We start building a wall that does not allow us to go where we want to go. We pin ourselves in. And as long as you're pinned in, there's nothing you can do. You're stuck. So start taking the bricks off the wall and take small steps moving towards where you think you want to go. And who knows where you'll end up. That's
awesome advice. Keenan, thank you so much for clarifying that. So the message behind that is that start small. Like Keenan started out blogging, and blogging became a revenue stream. Revenue stream became a career. Career became an evangelist, which became a full-blown entrepreneur. I mean, his leap. They say that the journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step, right? You've taken the steps. Before you know it, you've already gone the 1,000 miles or the 1,000 steps, whatever the analogy is, and you're already there. So the message, guys, is to do that. Is take one small step. Write a blog post, but the one thing you say is don't stop. Vicky used her, and I've been blessed enough to learn that from her, is consistency. You have to be consistent over and over again. You have focused. You cannot lose your momentum. You need to be engaged. You have to have, I was listening to an audiobook yesterday about it, and they talk about the things you just said. And a lot of those things are in here. A lot of those things are talked about in this book. And I encourage all of you to just, guys, come on, go on. I'll buy you guys the book. I mean, please just get the book. I mean, really, And actually, I'm going to buy a couple more copies and I'm going to give these to my kids. I give it to my kids. So I want them to read it as well. No, thank you. Thank you. Hey, Vicky, I want to see if you have any questions in the room. And I know you've been having some trouble with your video, but you seem like you're in full force again. I think you're back. I think you're here. I see you.
I think I'm fine. You guys are having trouble, according to me. According to my visual acuity, you guys are having trouble. But there's not really been any questions over here. These guys are just enthralled. I think they're all waiting like puppies, waiting for some more. Well, I don't know if we use your pig analogy. They're pigs waiting for some more stuff.
Anthony, you said something that I thought was interesting. You talked about my journey to I blew into this full-blown entrepreneur, and you referenced Gary Vaynerchuk and you referenced other people out on the web, right? So you sort of very politically correct sort of challenge some of the things that are going on these days. The idea of hustle, of being an entrepreneur. Let me let everybody know something. Entrepreneurship is not for everybody. But the other thing I want to tell people is entrepreneurship is not easy. It is not glamorous. The only reason I do it is because, if you can tell by my personality, I don't play well with others when it gets too political. I just don't. It's who I'm the greatest guy to party with. I was always fun at the company picnic and all that. But the minute we're trying to get stuff done, and I would have been the worst on Survivor. I'd be the first one kicked up. I don't have time for this political shit. We got to get shit done, right? So I just don't have time. So what I want people to understand is entrepreneurship is not glamorous. I said something the other day. Every payday, the biggest impact to my business, the biggest hit on my bank account is payroll. Yeah. Okay. I watch huge chunks of my money go out the door. Yeah. The end of every month. I got to make sure that I drive enough sales to get that replenished. Now, most companies that we talk about on social media that talk about all this entrepreneurship, they're either solopreneurs, they got no payroll, so let's keep it real. Good for you, but nothing against you. Please don't hit and talk about being an entrepreneur. You're a solopreneur. You ain't got payroll. Right. Don't worry about that. Number two, it's companies that have been invested in. So they got this big stockpile of cash. And granted, they have to manage their expenses, but they don't have to figure out how to offset those expenses at the same time as they're selling. When you're in that kind of entrepreneur, like grocery, mom-and-pop grocery stores, your local freaking skating rink, those people are real entrepreneurs that every month you need to make sure you make more money than you spend. And let me tell you, that is not freaking easy. So I wish people would stop pushing this whole idea, entrepreneur life. No. And not to bag on Gary, but Gary's
$3 million. Yeah, I know.
Making $3 million a year.
Right. Understand. No, I hear you.
Okay, and he sat in his dad's shop and he blew up. I'm impressed. But that's different.
Right, and I think that's what's important for people to take away with. Again, everybody, welcome to the Anthony Conklin Show. Vicky Fitch, my co-host, the amazing Jim Keenan. We know him as Keenan. Great book called Not Taught. These are some of the hard lessons, but these are the facts that you need to hear. And the reason why we have this show is to talk about the truth, is really getting to the heart of the matter. And being an entrepreneur, again, is not glorious. It's not a glamorous thing. It's really hard. As you say, it's difficult. And, if you really want to know what it's like, speak to people who have gone through the journey. Stop listening to the talking heads. And I know I'm a little politically correct because these are recorded and who knows who's going to watch it, but I'm going to point my life to Keenan. I don't care. I don't care. No,
I said it. You didn't care. I said it. Gary and I have exchanged conversations. I don't care. Look, Gary's not a thin-skinned guy, right? I'll say this about anyone. People can say stuff about me. I'm not judging. What's interesting? I have this conversation a lot about people. There's a difference between judging and stating facts. I never said this person sucks or they're not good because I just said, hey, please remember, right? When I started my business, I don't talk about this to many people, but I started my business 3 months before I got separated. My wife at the time was a stay-at-home mom. Okay, so for those of you who've ever been divorced and been the primary breadwinner, let me tell you what happens to your finances when you get divorced and someone's a stay-at-home mother. So not only did I just started this business, I couldn't go back into the business world now. I can't run back. I had to grow this business and lost half my assets and had an alimony payment for almost 4 years.
Yep.
So let me tell you, I know what it means to scrape, and I know what it takes. It is not glamorous. It is not glamorous.
You know, again, great nuggets, and I think those are the things that we don't hear. Right, we don't hear enough of those stories. Like no one talks about all the as Gary would say, the dirt. You know, but we talk about the grind, the real grind. I would encourage you to do a blab about your story. I think people would love to hear your story because people want to come and hear about all the followers they have and the million followers on Twitter and all the great. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear about you and your journey, your why. Right, and this is what. Vicky, I think we're pretty successful in doing that today. I think we're able to get to the heart of the matter, which is really your why. And if I can tell you your why from what you just said here, Keenan, your why is I want to make changes in people's lives, and I want to get people to the bottom of it, to truth, to get to grow, become better. Which I feel, and I'll humbly put myself in the category of yourself. I strive to do the same thing. I think we try to do that with the show. It's just I try to do it because I want them to pay it forward. That's the thing that I look to do. And I think when you start to listen to people like yourself and your story, that's the story that people need to hear. Like I would love to see you, and I always like to do this with my guests. I didn't do this with Tony, but I'm going to do this with you. I would love to see you on stage talking about your story. And oh, by the way, I did a little of this. I did a little sales guy thing, but here's my story. I just think that would blow you up in a way that would just get, I'm not thinking about getting more followers. I think that message is so powerful. No, I think the message is so powerful, and I'm getting all emotional about it because I'm getting into your story. I think that story needs to be told, Keenan. If I could just say it this way, your story needs to be told. It's a powerful story, and it resonates with more people than you can ever imagine. Because there are a lot of divorced people out there who go through that stuff. So I think that's a powerful story. Vicky, any thoughts on that?
Thank you.
Between the two of you, I can't get a word in edgewise, so I'm just going to sit here and listen. Yeah, that's why only thing I am going to say is that for me personally, I love being an entrepreneur, and I know you guys do too, but I do find that, I mean, it's hard work, but I do find that I have the flexibility that most people don't, because I'm very consistent and very scheduled. Yeah. And I think that's where a lot of people fail, that they either don't know how to be consistent. And because again, I do lay out by my pool sometimes working, like those pictures that people pretend that I do that. And it's not, I don't post all these pictures. That's all I ever do. I'm always at the beach, but I do what I want to do. I watch my kids and I play. And I think sometimes that you're right. A lot of people think, oh, that's what being an entrepreneur is. We just get to sign up for something and then we just get to go kick back and the money rolls in, which is ridiculous. But I also think other people then think it's such a grind and they use it as an excuse to not start because other people have told them that you got to work hard. And it's like, yeah, you got to work. You should be working hard no matter who you're working for, but you should work double hard for yourself because, you know, that.
No,
anyway,
you actually nailed the piece that I think people miss is we get to manage our own calendar. We're not beholden to other people. It doesn't mean we don't have to do the work. Don't confuse when you do the work with doing the work, right? And I did say this earlier, but I didn't think about it. But look, I'm not a very religious man, with all due respect to anybody listening, right? But every once in a while, I do find myself fighting with or patting on the back the fate gods. Sometimes they really bend me over and screw me, and sometimes they really make things good for me. And do that crazy shit, right? But here's the deal.
I need some more tea.
I told you this, the part of the story where, I told you the part of the story where I started my business 2 months before I got separated. I won't go into the long story, but I didn't think I was on the road to separation. It wasn't like I saw this coming. So I thought I was cruising along in the marriage, and 2 months later, boom, I'm moving out. Okay? But with that said, the good part of the fate gods, which does get me emotional sometimes, is had I not started this business, I would not have been able to have my girls 50% of the time. The amount of money that I had to pay my ex would not have been possible. The type of job I would have needed for that would have forced me to do that grind that Fortune 500 of middle America makes you do, right? That you're in the office at 6, you're on the road. I wouldn't be able to say, oh, I'm going to go pick up my kids. So that part of it, the fate god said, hey, man, here you go. Other parts are going to be hard, but you get to pick your kids up every day at 2:30. You get to take them to school, and nobody can
so
tell
if you guys
you
want
otherwise.
that true freedom, you want independence, you want to control your own schedule, that's what you have to do. That's what I do. So, hey guys, once again, this has been the Anthony Conklin Show. We've been interviewing a CEO and author of Not Taught. Great book, guys. You got to get it. So, what it takes to be successful in the 21st century and what they're not teaching you. I put a link in the box here, and you can get the first few chapters for free if you could sign up. That's go to salesguyconsulting.com. You can get your freebie chapters. By the way, Kira approved that. Let you know. So I'm dropping it in my. She approved it.
No.
Go get it.
Do it. Go get it, people. Get the
free.
Reading your butt off. Free.
Because I promise you, after you read
chapters.
the first couple chapters, you're gonna want to get the book. So make sure you get it. So, hey, Keenan, just one more question I have. Just a little technical question regarding the book. Did you do an audio version of the book too? I didn't notice. Did you do an audio? I think you did. Or
right now. And it's funny, the fate gods, as I tell you, my company, there's no like going like this at my company.
Wow.
It's like this and pow, pow. Maybe it's just my personality. So I decide to do the audiobook. I go out and research all these audio companies. I find one that's good. I show up. When I show up, there's police in the front of the studio, right? I'm like, okay, maybe something will go on. So I just try to do my thing. Well, she brings me in. We go into the recording studio, and she goes, I'm getting divorced. And I had to call the police on my ex-husband. So this woman's a mess. Nice lady, but she's right smack dab of a nasty divorce. So good in 3-hour increments, like a half hour of each one, she's crying on my shoulder about how difficult it is, right? So we're efficient. Well, I'm done reading the book, and we're doing the final edits. We have to do what's called the punch, where you go and you say a few things that weren't perfect. Like you go say another word, right? Right? And she sends me a text on a Sunday morning saying, we can't do the punch on Monday. The judge just ordered me out of my house, which is where all the recordings in the basement. So for the last month, I've been trying to get this thing finalized, but she is around trying to find a studio for us to do the punch. So it's like, how does this happen to us? Yeah. Million.
Okay.
We're almost done. And
well, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, if you want to get great content and read a great book, great book, how to get not taught. If you want to go on an adventure, you got to join Keenan. He'll bring you on an adventure. He'll bring you on the ski slopes. He'll talk about divorced people and police cars and all kinds of stuff. And the fake gods, the ones that bend you over. It's all fun stuff. It really is. It's really great stuff.
Yeah, the fake gods.
Well,
man.
Keenan, this has been a great interview. I'm so I'm thankful and I'm grateful and very appreciative that you were able to make this interview. And again, thank you for making the time and sharing such amazing content. I'm going to ask one more time, Vicky, if there's any more questions. If not, we're going to wrap this up and we're going to call it a night. Any questions in the room? I think the happy puppies are waiting to get the book now.
Did I miss any? I don't think so. I think I've been right on top.
So thank you to each and every one of you that joined the room. Yeah. So links in the chat box.
I put the link in the chat box.
Get your free copy.
Yeah, I put the link in the chat box. I will grab it again.
This was fun, man. I was looking forward to this all month. Man.
I appreciate it.
You're a good cat, dude. I enjoy hanging with you. You too, Vicky.
We're good peeps. We're good peeps. So
you're like sunshine.
So before we turn off the recording, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody who joined. For the people that came to the room and for the replayers, thank you so much for coming back. I appreciate it. So Keenan, we're going to wrap up the recording. So why don't you tell people where they can find you? Tell them a little bit more about the book. Keenan, why don't you drop some knowledge, drop some promotions, drop the link we already have for the book. So tell people where they can find you, Keenan. Where can they find a sales guy? Where can they find Keenan?
You can go find Keenan at salesguy.com. You can also find me at Keenan on Twitter, Hey Keenan on Facebook. You can find me Jim Keenan on Instagram, or you can just go to that beautiful little thing called Google and you put in Jim Keenan on the entire first 2 pages. You can't miss it. I'm easy to find. So, and just YouTube I think it's Keenan on YouTube. Keenan's such a popular name now, I can't own it. I'm happy to have it in Twitter, LinkedIn.
But don't forget Snapchat. Don't forget that you'll find Keenan on Snapchat. He's also there as well.
Yes. Yes, although I'm not convinced. I'm not sold on Snapchat anymore. I think here's on your show, this is what I'm predicting. It's not going away, but as far as a B2B tool, here's my prediction. Ready? Snapchat fatigue.
I'm hearing.
It's too much work to do all those stories constantly and read everybody's stuff. It's too much work. Even Gary is getting it, but he won't admit it. How many times did he come on in the last few days saying, "Oh, haven't had time. I know, guys. I know I've been absent.
It's a lot of work. It is a lot of work, and to keep up with the 24-hour roll, it's a lot. It really is a lot. I mean, I think there may be the 0.001% will do it. Whoever on that. I mean, and it's interesting you say that. But I'm going to turn off the recording because we have some people in the room that are Snapchat evangelists or Snapchat experts, and we're going to get them into the room. So again, everybody, this has been the Anthony Conklin Show with my amazing co-host, Miss Vicky Fitch. We've been interviewing CEO Jim Keenan, author of Not Taught. Make sure you follow me. He's everywhere at Keenan. Thank you so much, everybody. My name is Anthony Conklin. You can find me at anthonyjconklin.com. You also find me. And for the listeners, you can see Vicky's displaying the shirt and the Not Taught. So you can find Vicky at vickyfitch.com. Vicky, did you want to tell everybody where they can find you? And by the way, again, in his effort to be transparent, Vicky is my coach. She has been my coach for some time. She keeps me in line. She knocks me around. And hey, everyone. And by the way, everyone needs a coach. Everyone needs a coach. Everyone needs a coach. So Vicky's my coach. Vicky, where can they find you?
Yes, I agree.
Well, as you guys know, you can reach me at vickyfitch.com. I would love to help you guys I'm an author, a speaker, and an international business consultant as well. And I'd love to help you guys to turn your passion into your profits. And I appreciate you, Anthony, always delivering super value.
Awesome.
And I'm really looking forward to having you on my podcast as well. Thank you for agreeing to do that. We're going to have a great time. He's going to be on He Said, Red Said, where I get to actually Fitch slap in public. He's a bit feisty, that one. We're going to have a great time. And no swearing.
Thank you so much. Again, my name is Anthony Conklin. This has been the Anthony Conklin Show. You can find me at anthonyjconklin.com. I am a transformational, motivational, and keynote speaker and MC. I would like the opportunity to come speak to your organization, speak to your sales team. I want to speak to entrepreneurs who want to get re-energized and reinvigorated and find their passion and purpose and connect it with a bridge called why. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. And remember, you have greatness within you. Always live your life to the max. I love you guys so very much, and we'll see you next time.